Okay, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Just depends on where you are and when you are watching or listening to this broadcast. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn, and I just want to welcome you to Lyonsview Realty Financial Fridays. Um, I'm the broker owner of Lyonsview Realty, and we provide residential, commercial for small businesses and nonprofits, and property management services. We do lots of things, but we really launched Financial Fridays to help you stay current on those trends that impact your bottom line. So, our goal is to provide you with resources, information, and tips to assist you in making the best financial decisions and to maximize your wealth building power now and in the future. So, I'm glad that you tuned in today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that as well. And I just want you to remember our guests are here as a resource to you. So feel free to ask questions, make any comments that you have in the chat. We'll answer those while we're live and come back and swing back for those who watch the replay. But I have a really, really great guest today. And I'm so happy that Miss Tankersley is here with us. Um, Miss Almitra Tankersly of That Girl's Got. Now, see, I always get this wrong.
That's all right, Clara.
So I'm gonna let her introduce herself so I don't mess up the name. It is so cute too. I love it. I love it.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Clara, you are amazing. Only you get away with that. Hey, everyone, this is Almitra Tankersly, and this gal talks credit. I think you have to watch my videos on and on and on to know how to say that. I actually have people that call up and be like, hey, Almitra, this gal talks credit. I'm like, okay, it's just Almitra. That's fine. But hey, guys, I'm so happy to be here. It's chilly in Philly. It's 16 degrees. Doors and windows are frozen today. I'm trying to get into the car, like, what's happening?
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, kind of wondering what those Tesla drivers are doing. Do they have like a heated handle? I don't
I'm
know.
sure they do. I'm sure they're able to just punch the car. It starts up, while you're in the car,
Yeah,
it up so you can get the door open for sure.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. How are you?
Oh, I am fabulous. Fabulous,
Great.
fabulous, fabulous. I'm really excited because, credit is one of those things that people, really don't get how
Yeah.
important it is and how many things that it touches. And, I just really appreciate the opportunity, one of you coming, because you're such an expert in credit. I've learned so many things from you, and you've been
Yeah.
a guest on the
Thank
broadcast before. And I'm so happy that you were able to come back because you just, it's there's never enough time, number one. And
right.
it's never too late to get started, right? So just tell people a little bit about yourself and your business, and then we'll hop right in.
Well, yeah. So let me just say this: it's always enough time if they land on my page. So I'll definitely put it out there. If you're on Facebook, I want you to go to This Gal Talks Credit. That's This Gal Talks Credit. And if you are able to see me on Instagram, it's the same thing, This Gal Talks Credit. And then also, please make sure you subscribe because I do some major pop ups every now and then as far as lives. Not so much on a schedule right now, but for the most part, I don't really do IG and Facebook too much just because it's not a moneymaker for me because of the fact that I work hand in hand with our clients. So when I do go live, you will know if I do, if you hit that notification button and of course subscribe. So it's always enough time there. And then of course they can reach us at creditfitness.co and they can actually get a courtesy 15-minute freebie with us just to see where they are and you said, people don't know how important credit is, right? Until they need it. They're like, oh God, I need $10,000. And they're like, I'm sorry, unfortunately. So that's when people usually know that credit is important. So I'll touch a little bit on who I am and why I do what I do. I will say that I started out as an amazing student at Temple and only to end up bombing out and had to go like with my tail between my legs to community college, which I'm so sorry I talked down on community college of Philadelphia at the time because I was like, I'm not going to community. But
It's
when I did
one of
go
the
back
best
and
colleges.
oh
Yeah,
my God, yes. I had all
yeah.
my Temple College professors there, as well as LaSalle and Drexel. I remember all those professors and did amazing. I rebounded, came up with a 3.8 average by the time it was for graduation, and found out I couldn't approve for anything just because I was still claiming as a dependent student with my father, being on his tax returns. And so as an independent student, they were the ones that got all the perks and all the money, and I was dependent. So I was disqualified. And then when it came for the SLS loans, my father was declined. I'm like, how could you get declined? You got amazing credit. And of course, when I was at Temple, I got all the credit cards that were available at the age of 17, by the way. And it was really an exchange for a bag of M&Ms and M's and maybe a bottle of water because it was hot that day. And I was like, yeah, I want it in exchange for a card. And so, yeah, I had all those cards before I was even 18 and wound up not understanding what credit was, even though I saw my parents have it. But yeah, I was more like that student was like, I'll pay them when I get my student refund, that student loan refund check, which
Mhm.
was like 90 days out. But by the time 90 days came, they had already charged me off. So by the time I needed to use my credit for graduation, I couldn't get approved either. So it stopped my life as I was gathering myself and trying to figure out, what I was going to do and what was this thing called credit. And so that began my journey. So I went from being a physician assistant student on the track for that to being the founder of Credit Fitness Inc. I have to be specific too with this Credit Fitness Inc. because we actually have a bunch of infringers out there. So if you don't see the gal with the green hair, don't care, then you already know you're on the wrong page. So just make sure you scroll through and make sure you're on the right page. But for the most part, I am an advocate for those who are working, hardworking citizens who are either one, they just want a decent life. They make the income, and I say anything from 37K on up is decent income. And if you have a good credit score, you can kind of live a comfortable life, depending on, if you can live below your means, if you're working at a lower income. And of course, if you're working at the higher income, it's the same thing. All right. Just add a zero, add a comma. But in the most part, what I'm finding is no matter if a person is making 30,000 or 300,000, and in some cases, business owners that are bringing in 3 million in revenue per year, they're still having the same issue with credit. And so, one of the things I will say is that if we are not careful and we operate on our emotions, anything online will sound good to us. Like, oh my God, that sounds good. They're going to help me. And we jump in and we spend the money. And sometimes it might not be such a success. You might find out that you are a victim of someone who's just basically scamming, which is very, very prevalent in the credit industry, unfortunately. But I would say, do your due diligence. And probably for us, referrals has been the best thing for us at Credit Fitness just because of how many people have been helped, how many people we were advocates for. And in most cases, we've been able to help them really transition from one season of their life to the next. So whether they're a high school student graduating into life or into college and, starting a career there, from college students to getting into the career path and so on and so on. So there's a lot of different seasons all at the same time. And we have had the pleasure to work with each individual category.
Well, there are two things that you touched on. One was going
Hmm.
to community college, and I think community college is actually an excellent way
It
um,
is.
to segue into life and to higher education. One, because it's cost affordable, and
Yes.
especially for some people, they're not sure what they want to do yet or who they want to be,
Hmm.
and it's a great way
Yeah.
to explore and get an excellent education. I mean, there are phenomenal, as you said, instructors who are on the
Hmm.
community college level. So, and you make college is just a great opportunity to build relationships, get to know people, and
Yeah.
find out who you are as you're moving
Mhm.
educational path. So
Yeah.
don't poo poo community college. It's all that,
Yeah.
and it's effective. So that's number
It
one.
is.
And
It
number
is. I mean, just to touch base on that. I mean, I had the same Drexel Hill syllabus. I mean, Drexel Hill. They had Drexel College. It was just on the syllabus. LaSalle, same thing.
indeed.
Temple, which blew my mind because when I was at Temple, I had student teachers. I never met my professor, and I'm down like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at Temple. But yeah, community. I wish that there are more students that really consider that, especially if they're not sure even what college they want to go to.
Hmm.
It really allows them to just understand the dynamic of what their learning style is, because some colleges have different learning styles, as I saw with each professor that was from
Yeah,
different colleges in Philadelphia.
true that.
But it really did expand my horizons mentally as well as educationally. So I just I hope that people do look on community colleges to be the like level playing ground, especially when you're coming out of high school and maybe you didn't like, I don't know. Just maybe you didn't have
It
everything
is.
tight. Like you didn't have all your goals written. You
It's a
know?
great, yeah, it's a great place
Mhm.
to start. But the other point that you made that was really prevalent is that in college, students get offered credit. It's
Yeah.
probably one of their first introductions to credit before they even know what credit is and how important it is. Um, how important it is going to be for their future. So, talk a little bit about because I think at that point in your life, you really don't know how this is going to affect you moving forward. And why is credit important to the average American? Like, where does it show up in life? You know, because, we're older now as you go through that path.
Yeah.
Where's
Well, I'll
credit
say this.
important in your life?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. If you have a heartbeat, a pulse, and you can breathe it from your hand and feel it, I will say that in regards to credit, credit starts young. There's a lot of teenagers and even some infants, unfortunately, who are establishing credit right now just because someone is misusing their profile to keep the gas on because it's cold outside, and their particular situation may have not afforded them to get a credit line in their name, to turn on the utilities for the property. So that's the unfortunate side. So credit starts out really young. And also, if you have a library book, unfortunately, if you do not pay your fee, it can show up on the credit report. How do I know these things? Because it's happened to me. I was like, what is that? That wasn't even a credit card. But I mean, medical bills, anything that has anything related to a currency. And if you have to pay in the future or pay someone back, it can come back as a, IOU, and it can land on your credit report should you not, stick to the terms. Actually, here's another one. I was taking care of my mother for about 12 years, 24-hour care at the last part of her life. And as her payee, with the IRS, they somehow reversed the last payment that was made to her. She had survived a whole year, I mean, a whole month after that payment, and they reversed it and placed it on my name on my credit.
Wow.
So these are a ton of things that can wound up on your credit. So it is very important because anytime that you have anything derogatory reporting, it will drop your scores, it will give you an unfair rating, and it'll basically just mess up your good name.
Yeah.
So I
And
think that,
employers too. Employers too.
yeah, everything. It's
Employers want to
everything.
pull your credit. You want to buy a
It's
car, they pull
everything.
your credit.
Even with if you have to go to the dentist, for the most part, medical, I would say most of medical is covered, right? But when it comes to like cosmetic stuff and dental, that's when you'll really see if your credit will work for you, because you might have to get something done where your medical coverage is not going to cover a filling or a root canal or something like that. They will present an application for credit. So it's not only just for that, and like you said, employers. I work with a ton of people who have to have security clearances working for the government, whether it's for, DOD or just the military in general. They have to be able to have certain, things cleared on the report in order to have certain, jobs. So it's involving everything. And just to add salt to this injury, if you're on Instagram or on social media in general, I shouldn't say just Instagram, but social media in general, there is a credit score that's being generated with you based on how you are communicating with your audience. If you're a person that is like jumping out of planes and racing cars, like you are actually generating a score. So I mean, you might say, "Oh, that's ridiculous," but try me. Even with real estate, they have, houses that score for walking scores. What's the walking score? So I just know that there's a score for everything. And if you're not careful, it can backfire. So yeah, credit scores
Yeah.
are important.
Yeah, and it's important too because there are people who have credit, there are people who have
Hmm.
absolutely no credit. I had a client once who, like, they were a ghost, they were invisible. They had, and they were older. It wasn't like they were a young person. They had absolutely no score, and so they
Hmm.
had to, establish credit to be able to purchase um, the property and
Right.
generate a financial identity because, like you said, people are not going to loan you money in the future if they don't have some record of your ability to repay or how you've repaid things in the past.
Well,
So
I'll beg to differ. I'll beg to differ. They will loan you
it will
credit,
cost you
but
money.
it'll be 50% interest.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not, and I know I'm making a joke out of it, but what's happening now is
Yeah.
subprime lenders, it's their market now. Like they're like, everybody is screwed up, everybody's jacked up, and everybody needs something. Because just because you have no score or a low score doesn't mean that you don't do anything. You still need a car. You still need to get what you need to live life. You are in business. Most of the people that are probably watching you right now, Clara, are business owners. And I will say business owners are the ones that do the most damage on both sides. They're like, okay, I got my personal life. I have my car payment. I got my little bitty, itty bitty rental payment, not even a mortgage, just rent. And they hate where they are. They want to move into a better neighborhood, but the credit scores say no. So these are just general people. Yeah, no. These are people that are just general consumers. You're a business owner, yes, but you're still a consumer. So, if you know you need these things, and if let's say you make the money, sometimes you might say, you know what, the money is expensive, but I'm gonna get that. And that's one of the things I hate about fashion fig leaves, as I would call it. Those that are running after the items that are, the bags, the fashion, the cars, all this stuff. They are the main ones that will pull up to my office in the hottest vehicle, and their payments is $1,800 a month, and they're not feeling it. They come in with the nice bags, but the bag has nothing in it. So I'm
Right.
not impressed by titles. I'm not impressed by what people are wearing, because usually those are the ones that have the issues. They're camouflaging, and that's okay. I mean, thank God for green hair, because that green hair was the very thing I needed to cover my bad days when I was going through terrible times, especially during my separation. I was like, Lord, pop on a wig, right? But the thing is that we have to understand that our name is everything. So if we really did need something, let's go past, fashion and materialistic things. Let's talk about just general health. If I needed to get a life insurance policy, they're going to check out the credit report. They're going to check out to see what type of person you might be. Even if it comes down to, paying a higher policy or premium, that's still you. Okay. So I think if once you understand that the credit scores are an AFGAR score, when babies are born, they're given a credit score basically. It's an AFGAR score, right? I might be saying that wrong, but basically want to make sure, do they look alive or do they look like they have to be in trouble? And if they are, they'll rush them off to NICU. And some of us need to be rushed off into NICU when it comes to our own credit. So yes, we make the money we make, but I've seen people make $160,000, and with all the student loans that they had, they might be about 400,000 in, and they're only bringing $36,000 a year. So I'm not impressed, and I hope that those that are watching can kind of get past themselves and understand that it's not about just credit repair. No one cares about credit repair. People still get funding, still take out loans that are high interest or interest only, and they do what they have to do. But wouldn't it feel better if your scores were where they needed to be? where you can actually walk in and get what you want from the banks that are offering, because they want to give it. That's the only way they usually make good money, is if they loan people money. So I have to say that credit fitness is one of those things that um, you have to understand this is not a credit repair agency. This is a boutique-ish, concierge level of coaching and consulting for our clients that are not just consumers want to buy a house, buy a car, but these are consumers that are turning into business owners, or they're both. Some of them still have 9 to 5s or 12 on, 12 offs, and they're like, listen, this is the business I do. What can I do with my credit to get me out of my job? And so the first thing I always tell them is, let's hold on to the job, because the job is going to be the bridge and the gateway for you to get access to those lines that you're looking for. So that way you can see your exit strategy from the job sooner than later. Instead of a person that says, okay, I'm just going to up and quit. And I'm like, no, don't quit. And they're like, what do you mean? I want to do this. But, it's a lot of foundational building blocks that you can use with the resources that you have. I'll also say this, and I mentioned this to you before, Clara. Some people probably will be like, "Oh, she's crazy," but for the people that have these properties and got a ton of equity, I've been under some people who have taught me, pull out everything, and I get it, because when the market does bad, and let's say you do need to get liquid cash from out of your equity, some banks are not lending for equity. In fact, I was just telling you how Navy Federal just opened the doors for people to start getting the equity out of their property. So there's a ton of things that can be done with credit. There's a ton of things that most people don't know they can do with credit outside of what they see and hear. Social media is not the best platform. Henceforth, why we've created this boutique-ish concierge level of service, because it's just different. And
Right. Oh, I lost.
those that do get access to those lines of credit, whether it's 5,000 or 500,000, that to show them how to continue to build on and on and on and on. So
Right.
that's
You
what it
you
comes
made
down
you
to.
made several points. One is, and I stand corrected. Yes, anybody can get credit. It's just
I
going to
think I
cost.
lost her. I'm sorry.
We're still here. Yeah, you were going in and out, so I don't know if someone was dialing in or something. I don't know. But anyway, you made several really good points.
Clara, I
One
don't know if you
is
can hear me. Can you hear me? You're good.
I can,
Okay.
yes,
Sorry.
I can hear you. That's okay. You made several really, really good points. One is that it doesn't matter, like anybody can get credit. It's just going to cost you more. So if your personal profile is kind of jacked, your people will lend you money. It's just going to cost you more money to get access to that money. Your rates are going to be higher
Yeah,
for the same thing that it
everything
costs somebody else.
everything
The
is
other,
going to really come down to what type of person are you, especially if you're going to get funding for your business. And I hate to say business credit, the word business credit, and I said this to you before in private, it's just an overused, misused terminology. A lot of people don't understand it. All they know is, oh, I can get money from my business, let's have it. And unfortunately, the information that's out there, the majority of the information that's out there, is wrong. It's kind of slighted. I actually personally know Ty Crandall, who was the person who started this thing so many years back. I'm talking about 2009, 2010. And so I was able to be under his training, his teaching, to understand what this was really about, because prior to him, I myself had spent 5,000, actually it was $5,500 on a business program to help me get access to lines of credit for my business, and it was completely hogwash. And it was unfortunate that I spent 5,000, but that was a part of my education, that was a part of my growth, and my stripes, my I got my chevrons in the industry. But the thing is that what I don't like seeing is people just wanting to get access to likes and subscriptions to their pages versus really telling people, hey, listen, LLCs are the first ones to be sued by the attorney generals. They're coming for you.
So unless you get your team right, unless you think about putting some money to the side to have an attorney, to have a CPA, to have an accountant, to have a bookkeeper, to have have a credit specialist, like there's tons of things that most people don't think about until they're in trouble, until they've been served a summons to court, So one of the things I also have to say is that credit repair is one of those things that now is being attacked by the CFP. Um, Let me just say this. When you have something good that can help people and it helps a ton of people and a lot of money is being made and then you have a little mix in there of fraudulent activity too from those that don't always follow, that's when the government gets involved and then they start shutting stuff down. So that's what's
Right.
happening in the credit repair industry.
Yeah,
And so
a lot of things are changing, and I'm gonna wrap because we're running out of time. But that's really important that the government is stepping in. They're doing some things to kind of oversee what's happening with the credit repair companies, and it's great that your company, Credit Fitness, is out there to kind of steer people in the right direction. I want to ask one last question before we have to log off, but um,
is it that time already?
yes, it's that time. You made some really great points. One, start early because they get you right out of college, but you can actually establish credit before then. Two, keep your financial stuff in check because if your financial position is not good, you're going to pay more for that credit. But what are some other things like if you were to give people three key tips that they should do to keep their credit tight and right? Oh, but to move forward, give me those. But before you say that, the other point that you made, I want to point out or put an underline on is that there's a difference between personal credit and business credit is just as important as personal credit, and that's something that your company does as well for our business people who and our entrepreneurs who are out there. Get with Miss Tankersley because she can show you some things that will take your business to the next level. But I'm gonna switch back. Three things or a couple of things that people can do on a day to day to make sure that their credit, that they can take advantage of getting their credit tight and right.
Yes. So the first thing is, I'm gonna say, take advantage of talking to someone. You can call us. Please get that conversation in action because what happens is it exposes where you are mentally, financially, and just your overall attitude towards this thing called credit. The second thing would be is once you do that, be prepared to pull the report. I know sometimes it feels like it's a doctor's report, but once you look at it, especially with someone who can explain to you what it is that can be done to improve your progress on paper, it's your white paper. You need to say what it is about who you are. So you need to have someone that can understand how to read it, not just tell you need everything wiped off, because sometimes you don't. So you need to show, like you said, you had a person that was invisible. Sometimes it might be okay to leave a charge off from 2014 on that report. So I'm just saying, pick someone that actually understands what they're saying that will help you. And then thirdly, when you begin to take on credit relationships, whether you're going to start out with subprimes and have a plan of action. And that means you have to select someone that knows what they're doing. That's just a cheap plug for credit fitness, but really with any professional in my industry. And then also have the mindset to know that if you're going to borrow a lump sum of money, understand you need to borrow enough to give yourself a cushion just in case something happens to your income and you can't pay it. And then you can use your credit to pay your credit back until you get back on your feet. So those are the three tips that I would submit to those people.
Wow. Those are some really great tips. And I really impress upon people your credit is like your twin. It's your other
Yeah.
identity out there that is representing you in so many different areas of your life. And employers are looking at it. People who want to lend you money are looking at it. Medical institutions are looking at it. The government is looking at it. Like everyone is looking at your credit score.
Yeah.
So that other part of you that you need to nurture and groom, just
Well,
like we put on it.
you mentioned all those important But no one's thinking about when they want to be a business partner with someone, to ask, what's your credit look like? They never do that. They just get in business, right? So if you pick someone that has a pretty bad looking credit report, that might make you think twice about making them responsible for your business. So it happens with everything. And I just hope that folks will look at it as their bill of health. And actually, it is a bill of health. In fact, our logo represents a transient line that you're familiar with in the medical field. And the transient line that you see is a healthy one. And so, the apple is more so, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But in our field, it really keeps you ready. So you don't have to get ready when you need access to, funding or resources. And
I
we're
like that.
creative
Be right
in
so
how
you
we
don't
get
have to
that money
get
to you.
ready. I
Huh?
like that. I like that. Be right so you don't have to get ready.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. Be right so you don't have to get ready. That is awesome. That is
Right.
really amazing. So what have you got going on? Because I know you've got some events and activities that people can tap into Credit Fitness. And how can people contact you?
Yeah, so again, they can reach us at creditfitness.co, not .com, not .org, .co. That's super important, guys, because we have a bunch of infringers out there. I mean, what can I say? Credit Fitness is an amazing name, but we're trademarked. We have the serial numbers, and we're definitely coming for them. But nonetheless, creditfitness.co, you will find on that page that there is a courtesy window for you to be able to set up a time. They are limited, so I hope that you guys will at least use that to find out what do I do. I need sure to get this money without being so expensive and giving me high blood pressure and diabetes. I mean, let's face it, I can eat a whole bucket of chicken by myself. But nonetheless, you can go in there, set up a time, and I myself or one of my staff will be able to, basically just open up the book and show you. You're going to financially undress a little bit. But we'll make it comfortable. We won't be exposing you to the world, but it really will give you an opportunity to see where you are. We do have a bunch of things that are coming. We always have a bunch of things coming up because the industry is always changing. So we stay ahead of what's happening. And one of the things that's happening right now is that we're going to teach you guys how to make sure you make your credit reports be the way they need to be. You don't have to be embarrassed about it because we're going to give you a way to do it privately where we'll just walk you through and then you'll be able to follow along. And so, if you're that person that drives that high-end foreign and you got the Christian Dior shoes and the red bottoms, you don't have to be embarrassed. All you got to do is just insert. You can upload your credit report. You can actually press the button to get your reports made accurate. And so that's going to be a pop-up clinic that we have coming up. So make sure you follow our page at creditfitness.co as well as all social media, which is creditfitness.inc on Facebook, Instagram, everything. And, just really keep in tune because we are moving faster than what everybody else is doing out here. It's not about just business credit. It's not about just personal credit repair. It's about overall financial wealth, because if you are paying more for money, you'll never be able to save what you need in your 401ks or your child's education or whatever you're trying to save for. Okay, so if you get your scores in a better position, and when you say what's a better position, Almitra, mid 700s all day. Okay, and we'll show you how to make your personal credit boring. That report needs to be boring. And if you're doing a whole bunch of activity because it's related to business, we need to transition that over to business, which, by the way, you can start building your profile for a business, even with terrible credit scores that are under a 680. Okay, so I don't want anyone thinking they got to have great credit to start building credit for a business. You can start it right away, and especially for those that are working out of their homes, garages, cars, wherever y'all doing your business at. We want to show you how to make sure you look right on paper, get your white paper ready, because that's what's going to get you to the bank. The bank, yes, they like green, they like it, but they hate the fact that you guys are walking in their institutions with undeveloped paper and profiles that don't say you move that kind of weight. So this is an opportunity for anyone that's like, I just want to, get this in order. And you really can establish a great credit score, maybe like an A1 credit score. for your business. It's called the Paydex, and that can be done in 90 days if they follow our track. And we also have financing, because I know someone like, oh, how much is that going to cost? We actually have financing for those that will qualify. You need at least a 612. You have to have 612 credit score at minimum to show that you can repay. So definitely make sure you reach out to us because we'll give you more details about that.
Almitra, this has been phenomenal. You're such a wealth of information. I wish we had
Oh,
more time. Um,
thanks,
she
Clara.
has done some other broadcasts for us, so you can go to Financial Fridays YouTube channel and check out, kind of the steps of building credit, all of those types of things. But her classes, y'all, you really need to get connected to this sister. She is doing some phenomenal things with credit, and Financial Fridays is about building wealth. It's not just about making money, it's about building wealth. And you can build financial wealth, emotional wealth, spiritual wealth. Like they're all different categories of wealth, but your credit, that other twin, that other thing that represents you, is so important as you move through life. And it follows you everywhere. And it's the difference between you keeping more of your money than giving it to someone else. So I encourage you to reach out to Ms. Tankersly, reach out to Credit Fitness. And I just want to thank everyone who tuned in today. I want to thank Ms. Tankersly for taking her time to be with you today and
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
share this information. Love you to the moon and back. Everybody, remember, Financial Fridays is here as a resource to you to provide resources, information, and tips on those trends that impact your bottom line. So I hope that you receive something of value today. Definitely subscribe to our channel and also like this video on YouTube. It really helps us out. We're still in a pandemic, y'all. It's hard to believe it. We think we're over it, and then it comes back. It's like that it's like that cold that won't go away. I don't know what it is, but I just encourage you all to stay safe. I want to send a shout out to those people who serve us, employees in the hospital, in transportation, food, police, fire, and definitely our leadership. We really need to take care of ourselves, take care of our families, and stay safe. So my name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. Financial Fridays, we stream live on Fridays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch it on Facebook or YouTube, live or the replay anytime. And until then, just keep living your best life. Thank you again, Ms. Tankersly. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
You too, Clara. Thanks for having me.